High-resolution footage leaked from defense sources and shared by military command centers has confirmed that the regional air defense network has been paralyzed with surgical precision. The focal point of the footage is the destruction of the regime's most trusted electronic warfare shield, the Cobra V-8 system. Developed based on Russian Krasuka 4 technology and expected to turn the region into an impenetrable fortress against radars, the transformation of this massive system into a heap of scrap metal within seconds has opened a new chapter in defense doctrines. The destruction of the Cobra V-8 is not merely the loss of a single vehicle. It signifies that hundreds of kilometers of coastline have become completely blind to radar detection. This technological blackout has cleared a wide corridor for B-52 strategic bombers and Tomahawk missiles to navigate toward the power plants targeted in the Great Blackout Operation, as per Trump's ultimatum. The second critical sequence of the operational footage features the destruction of Shahed series loitering munitions, suicide drones, while they were still stationary and awaiting launch. Intelligence indicating that the regime planned a massive drone swarm attack against civilian vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and Allied bases was met with preemptive aerial strikes. Thermal imaging captures the moments when camouflaged launch platforms and hidden containers housing the kamikaze drones were marked one by Predator UVs from above. This footage announces to the world that the enemy's most effective asymmetric weapon was neutralized before even entering its operational range. The rapid and accurate destruction of this drone infrastructure is a military victory that demonstrates the regime has lost total control of its airspace, showing a defense line collapsing from the inside out. Perhaps the most striking moments in the released videos are the scenes where mobile ballistic missile launchers were caught while attempting to hide in forested and rugged terrain. Normally considered among the most difficult targets to detect, these mobile launchers fell from hunter to hunted status the moment they emerged from their bunkers, thanks to advanced synthetic aperture radars, SAR, and continuous satellite tracking. The footage shows a massive missile launcher being struck just as it reached its firing angle, with the resulting secondary explosions revealing the sheer destructive power of the firepower on the ground. This hunting process is designed to systematically zero out the regime's potential for a missile retaliation before Trump's threat to strike power plants is carried out. The footage represents a panopticon war where every enemy movement is monitored second by second, rather than just a simple technical superiority. The rapid release of this operational footage in a documentary format is actually a part of a massive psychological warfare strategy being conducted by the Pentagon. The language of the imagery does not just tell a story of military success. It sends a clear message to the opposing leadership and soldiers on the ground: you are safe nowhere. The collapse of a giant like the Cobra V-8 or the sight of Shahed drones burning before they could even take off is intended to create a sense of technological surrender within the defense ranks. As Trump's 48-hour ultimatum nears its expiration, the publication of these videos serves as visual evidence for the warning: if we cut your electricity, you have no systems left to prevent it. By showing how effectively Washington can wield its military hammer, these images instill confidence in allies, while driving opposing decision-makers into a state of total paralysis in these final hours. Recent analyses coming from the region trace the roots of the current crisis in the Strait of Hormuz back to the tanker wars of the 1980s. However, the 2026 version has evolved far beyond those limited harassments of the past into a total global energy execution. While ships in the 1980s were targeted by individual mines or limited missile strikes, the strait today has become an impassable waterway woven with smart mines, hypersonic anti-ship missiles, and autonomous suicide drones. Military analysts emphasize that we are witnessing the largest naval blockade in history, stating that the region is no longer a trade route, but a floating prison where ships seek refuge. The crises that once took months to develop in the past have been replaced by total destructions occurring within hours today. In this geography where the lessons of 40 years ago seem forgotten, as technology advances, the color of the sea turns from the blue of trade to the black of war much faster. A massive civilian population trapped on both sides of the strait, including 23,000 Indian, thousands of Filipino, and European sailors, has become the most vulnerable victim of this global power struggle. Trapped on tankers, these individuals face the risk of becoming human shields in the potential bombardment that would follow the expiration of Trump's ultimatum. Reports indicate that food and water supplies on the ships have reached critical levels, while electronic warfare in the region has disrupted radio communications, leaving the sailors in a state of total uncertainty. This humanitarian crisis poses a significant ethical obstacle to military strategy, yet it only makes Washington's determination to reopen the strait more aggressive. The fate of 23,000 lives depends on the fire order to be given at the end of that 48-hour period tonight, or a diplomatic miracle that would shake the entire region. Global markets are pricing in an energy apocalypse triggered by the echoes of the tanker wars. With Brent crude oil settling above the $115 mark and shipments from Hormuz coming to a complete halt, industrial wheels worldwide have begun to slow down. Economic analysts are speaking of a great blackout scenario that could be deeper and more permanent than the 1970s oil crisis. Trump's threat to strike power plants will not only turn off the lights in one region, but will also sever the energy veins of the global supply chain. The de facto closure of the strait means that factories, hospitals, and transportation networks worldwide are deprived of their primary fuel source. Historically, every blockage in Hormuz has created a recession in the global economy, but the scale of this 2026 crisis is large enough to fundamentally shake the very functioning of modern civilization. As of March 23, 2026, the doomsday clock is now approaching midnight. The released footage of the Cobra V-8 destruction proves that the field is being cleared militarily, while deep analyses remind us of how heavy the economic and humanitarian bill could be. Trump's 48-hour deadline expires tonight. If the gates of Hormuz do not open, the shadow of B-52s over power plants will completely darken the future of a nation and perhaps an entire region. In this great showdown where 20,000 troops are on standby and 23,000 sailors remain hostage, the word now belongs to the weapons. We at the Military Report will be right here when that first spark ignites and the ultimatum time runs out. As history is being written, follow every explosion and every strategic move with us. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and prepare for the moment that will shake the world. Thank you, and stay strategic.